Hello YouTube, this is Morgan, Airspeed Prime here at my next Sword Art Online video, and this is going to be my review for the Sword Art Online 2 Part 2 DVD slash Blu Ray combi collector's edition pack thing. It's a weird thing, but either way, all you need to know is that it's the collector's edition release of the second volume of Sword Art Online 2. This is the UK slash Irish version, which was just actually released. The release date I think was the 28th of December. I got mine yesterday. So yeah, I'm ready to do this review here. So here we go. Now I will bring in the Part 1 Collector's Edition in a couple of minutes and kind of show you the kind of collection coming together and the whole special edition box thing. But anyway, here's the obviously special edition packaging that we get here. Really nice image of Kirito and Sinon in the background with Death Gun obviously there because he's much more prevalent in the kind of second half. There's the spine saying Collector's Edition Part 2 of 4. And obviously this finishes up the Phantom Bullet arc. Makes me wonder, like, I assume they'll probably do part 3 of 4 is Excalibur arc, even though it'll be less episodes than would fit on the discs, because Mother's Rosario is a lot longer than Excalibur, but I assume they'll do, like, part 4 is then Mother's Rosario. And here's the back of the Collector's Edition box, just another image of Kirito with the photon sword and Death Gun's eye in the background. Pretty nice, you know, and obviously with Star Wars out, the whole photon sword thing is really quite on point. Obviously we have Aniplex there, and this set is obviously kind of put together by Anime Limited or All the Anime, whichever name they go by, for the UK. And yeah, let's look inside. And inside, with these collector's editions that are the DVD and Blu-ray, what you get is a little guidebook. Phantom Bullet guidebook for episodes 8 to 14, and you also get the discs. Now I have the Blu-ray in my Xbox over there because I will show you the title screen in a couple of minutes towards the end of the video. Just note that the image on the disc is the exact same as the DVD here. It's just that literally the only change is that the little DVD symbol there is just Blu-ray symbol, and it's obviously a Blu-ray disc. But other than that, they are basically identical discs, but what's on them is different, and I'll get into that in a minute. Obviously the only thing here is that behind the disc you just get what the kind of bolded out what episodes from the arc are actually on the discs, and in this case it's 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 and 14. The second half of the arc basically. And that's all there really is to talk about on the inside here. You basically just have the cover image, just the outline kind of here, pencil work on the disc, and then just some graphical stuff here. Now they have fixed this, I'll actually show you this in a minute. On the part 1 set, it was perfectly done, except randomly episode 6 was just missing. Like they just didn't include the writing for episode 6 here. It just like skipped on to 7. It was a weird editing thing. I don't know if they ever re-released it. And then there's 2, Sword Art Online 2, and then just once again showing you that it's Blu-ray and DVD, but nothing really fancy to show off there. It's just what the discs are held in. So we'll show off the guidebook, and then we'll get into the other stuff. So yeah, so obviously it's just a basic guidebook showing you there's kind of some of the world stuff from GGO, post-apocalyptic obviously. Standard insert here, and then they just get straight into episode 8. And as I said before, when I reviewed part 1 a couple of months ago, it's just like a basic description of what the episode is about. A few screenshots showing you the key moments from the episode. It's not meant to be anything fancy and really give you huge insight into the episode more than what you get from watching the episode. I really do think it's just a kind of better way to explain to you, like, if you're looking to watch a specific episode, you have a kind of 2-page description, a couple of screenshots, so you know where the key moments happen and can like find the episode you're looking for. There's episode 9, Death Gun, and then they obviously in between all this you get some of the kind of character descriptions. So there's Kikuoka's avatar in ALO. Sugaha, Pale Rider, you know, some of the other things. It's just nice to get to know some of this stuff. So, you know, maybe this guy, Kakutan, maybe we didn't know his name, but Governor's Office, just pretty nice just to get this kind of concept art stuff, just to better. Because for the most part, like when they fight here, like when Kirito like fought in this location, you were just kind of like focused on the fight, and now just getting to focus on the actual background and the amount of detail that's actually put into a location that you don't necessarily look at all that much. It's just nice to know. There's Kirito and Asuna's room, and obviously this is pre Excalibur, Mother's Rosario arc. So there's this. It's a room they're renting in Yggdrasil City before they get their house later on. Then you get some interviews here, and it's interesting. Like in this case, the interview is with one of the guys who does the Sword Art Online games. And so it's more about the games and kind of almost like advertising the games rather than giving you a huge insight into what exactly Sword Art Online is. Like getting insight from the writer of the episodes and stuff like that, the animators, that sort of thing. But anyway, move on to episode 10, emotional episode. Episode 11, 12. There's Death Gun, design for the guns, pretty nice, just to get to see them, and I suppose just get more information on the Type 54 Black Star and how much meaning that has to the arc. Bullet final round map, and then just the various locations that we see: the cave, the shootout that happens in front of the cinema. This one is a second installment of the interview. And again, it's more about the games, the smartphone game and the other games, Sword Art Online Lost Song, which I think is the newer one that came out just a couple of months ago. I haven't played it because I don't have a PlayStation 3 or 4. And we're getting to the final couple of episodes. Phantom Bullet. And One Little Step. Again, I'm not going through these in any incredible depth because it literally just is a kind of synopsis of the episode and then highlighting some key moments, like it says on them, like the background of the incident, facing the past, the world's to save her, and then like key development at certain points. Then we get some of the other character stuff, Kyoji, Endo, who I don't think she's ever mentioned by name in the anime, but the novelization does explain, go into a little bit more depth on her. Sachi and Mizue Osawa, again, important characters who are very important to the ultimate resolution of things. There's Kikuoka actual form. There's Aki, Shina's apartment, Kazuto's motorbike. That's pretty nice. Next, they talk about this radio program, Sword Art on Air. I haven't really heard about it before. I actually heard it mentioned in this thing. So I don't actually know a lot about what it actually is, but I'm interested to see what it is. I really don't know what it is right now, but you get that, and then you get some nice line art here, pretty nice. I assume the reason for the lines here is kind of just to kind of show the framing and like the right place to put it on the screen and stuff like that. It's actually nice that they left in those lines if indeed that's what it's meant to be. And just the staff kind of that went into making the book, English edition, all the anime. But yeah, that's the guidebook. There's nothing like must have about it kind of thing that like you wouldn't get from like a typical like art book from a kind of a full anime art book or something like that, but it's nice enough. And again, just to kind of show it off, the episodes on this set are based off the light novel number 6, which is actually out in English. This is the English edition, of course. Phantom Bullet number 6, just recently released in English, so it's just nice how it's kind of coinciding with the DVD releases almost. This came out about a month ago. Now this is out. Pretty nice. But yeah, I'll talk about the features that are actually on the discs in a moment. But while we're still focusing on the actual packaging sort of situation, I'll bring in part 1. So obviously, part 1, you got the special edition box that's going to cover everything. As you see, you get part 1 plus the box with enough space to store the other ones. So now that we have part 2. We can take out the placeholder box thing, absolutely nothing in it. It just says store them in this space. But yeah, now we can. I'll actually show you that error again that they kind of fixed. There it is, just right there. It goes episode 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, blank for 6, and then just straight on to 7. It's kind of weird the way they did that, but anyway, we'll move on. And there's the part 1 cover for anyone wondering. And yeah, now we can just, at least half the collection is complete now. And there it is, looks pretty nice. Just, you know, different Kirichos, part 1, 2, very consistent. Definitely looks like there actually might be a little bit of too much space, actually, looking at it here. Like, 2 of these? Like, yeah, it could be kind of weird if one of the other boxes isn't a little bit thicker going forward. There could be a kind of a gap between all of them, but I suppose maybe that's just there to help you get them out. But yeah, the measurements probably work out, but it'll be interesting to see when the part 3 and 4 come out if there's a gap or if they all fit perfectly. But yeah, pretty nice. The only thing I'd say about this box is that it specifically says here Sword Art Online 2 Phantom Bullet. It doesn't mention anything about Excalibur. Like, I didn't mention this when I actually reviewed the first set because obviously I was so focused on GGO. But there's no Mother's Rosario stuff on this box. There's no Excalibur arc. It's just Phantom Bullet, which is weird. That, you know, I get it. Like, it's the box that comes with the part 1 of the set, but it's the box that's going to contain all of it. So I'm kind of surprised that they didn't, like, at least have one section of it be Mother's Rosario, at least. I can maybe understand them kind of glancing over Excalibur because it's a very short arc, but I felt Mother's Rosario was important enough that they devote some of the box space to it somewhere. So it's just interesting that GGO is absolutely marketed as kind of what SAO2 is, even though I think most fans probably consider the Mother's Rosario arc to be the better one in terms of character development and stuff like that. But yeah, so that's how the collection's going on. Now, where are we with regards to what's actually on the set? So of course you get episodes 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 and 14 on both the DVD and the Blu-ray. The DVD has, in terms of extras, all it has is it has episode 14.5, the debriefing kind of recap episode about the Phantom Bullet arc. It has that, it's on the DVD, and then the only other extra that the DVD has is it has the clean closing theme for SAO2, the Phantom Bullet arc. That's the only extras that are on that. With the Blu-ray, you get that plus the web previews, which I think are just the trailers for SAO2. You get Sword Art Offline Part 3, 4, and 5, which are the kind of chibi short things that kind of, you know, they're just meant to be a little bit of fun, but they kind of give you a small amount of character development as you go forward. But basically, I can show you most everything else by actually like going over to my TV and kind of showing you what's on it. So let's just cut to that. Okay, so this is the menu. You know, they go through a slideshow. They have the opening music on in the background. It's quite nice. You know, they cover some nice moments. They definitely are from the second half of the arc, so that's nice to know. Which, you know, a lot of animes, they just kind of have stock menus and then they don't really update them for a very long time. It's nice to know that they do that with this. But yeah, the menu's mainly here. And the main menu, it's interesting that you don't have to go into like scenes or anything like that to get the episode. They're straight there on the menu. You can go to whatever episode you want. In terms of setup, all there is, let me just go into it actually. You can choose obviously the English dub or the Japanese with English subtitles. There are no European language subtitles on the DVD or Blu-ray. So that's nice, but that's all the setup that there is. Then the extras, I mainly covered them, but yeah, you get 14.5, which is that recap episode, as I said. You get Sword Art Offline Part 3, 4, and 5 chibi shorts. The original web previews is basically 4 minutes of trailer for the second half of SAO2, and then Texas Closing is obviously the closing of the episode with no credits and text over it. It's literally you just get to see the animation with the music. But in case any of you don't know what Sword Art Offline is, I'll just briefly kind of show you the style of the animation, the way it's done. It's kind of this kind of news report type thing with the characters. There's Asuna. It's not dubbed, which is the interesting thing. Like it's just a kind of fun little thing that as they kind of roughly have like Asuna do news reports about the events of the arc, and then you get tiny little bits of character stuff between the characters as they go along, but nothing too fancy. So yeah, that's basically all there is to cover there. So let's go back to looking at the set for my final thoughts. So there you have it. I've covered basically everything. You know, this review isn't necessarily covering the episodes that are on this set. I've already reviewed SAO 2 in full on my channel. You can go back there. I think there's a playlist on my channel with my Sword Art Online reviews. And if you want to know my thoughts on every individual episode, you can go back and review them. They're all fairly detailed. Basically, my thoughts are just that I really like the Phantom Bullet arc. I do prefer the Mother Rosario arc, but I think Sinon is such a strong kind of co-main character to Kirito in this arc, and the general arc of, you know, the whole idea of, you know, like they've both, you know, killed people and how they kind of get over that together in GGO and Death Gun. It's a nice plot the way it comes together, a kind of mystery. Pacing is a little kind of not the best for one of these SAO arcs, but it is a very good arc overall. So, you know, this isn't really to cover the story, it's mainly just what this actual product is. And yeah, I got the collector's edition just because, you know, I wanted the Blu Ray because I really like Sword Art Online, so I want it in the best quality possible. And the only way to get the Blu Ray is to get the collector's edition set, which involves getting the combo pack. It was also released DVD, just DVD, and all that is basically a standard DVD case. I think it still has this cover, but it's not shiny. And then the DVD extras, as I said, the only things on it are the recap episode 14.5 and the textless clean closing theme. So that's all you get on that. You get the offline, you get the booklet with this set as well, obviously the fancy packaging to fit in with the part 1 set. So, you know, that's basically everything there is to say here. It's a really nice product. I like how much effort that's going into this set. It really feels like just a really high quality thing, and I'm so excited to like have the full set here, have like all 4 of them here. I assume, you know, like it'll probably be Kirito again for part 3 for Excalibur, but then I would assume it'll be Asuna for part 4 as the kind of spine character, so I'd like to see that. But yeah, that is basically all there is to talk about with this DVD release. Part 3, as far as I'm aware, Amazon have the date March 7th, though with both part 1 and 2, they have been pushed back by about a couple of weeks beyond what their initial date was. So March 7th right now, but closer to release, I assume it will be probably more towards the end of March, knowing the way they do scheduling on these. But either way, it's not too far to wait for the next part, and then I assume it'll probably be like June or something like that for part 4 when we finish it up eventually. And hopefully by that time we're finding out news about SAO 3 or whatever they decide to call it, SAO-alization or whatever. But yeah, that's the review. So if you have any questions about the set or anything like that, definitely leave them in the comments below. Other than that, thanks for watching the video, and bye.